express our total solidarity and deep thanks to our Holy Father, Pope Francis I, on his wise and momentous intervention and decision in resolving the lingering Episcopal crisis in Ahiara Diocese. This is a crisis which has done a great damage to the spiritual and pastoral life of a diocese and robbed her, as the Pope would say, of her fertility and fecundity. From very reliable sources and from the Guide newspaper, we can say with certainty that almost all, if not all, the priests of Ahiara Diocese complied with the papal decree by apologizing to Pope and accepting the bishop appointment by him for our diocese, which is a big requirement of the apology. We glorify God and congratulate these priests for their wisdom and demonstration of their priestly fidelity. Priestly obedience is not a sign of weakness or humiliation, but a veritable sign of priestly valor and dignity. We are, however, appalled and shocked to note that some of these same priests are now working secretly to incite a section of the lay faithful of Ahiara Diocese, especially the youth, to start their own rebellion against the Pope's decision and to continue to prolong the crisis, as was demonstrated in the failed rally on Saturday, 1st of July 2017. This is to say the least most unchristian, wicked, insincere, hypocritical, and scandalous. How can priests who have apologized to the Pope turn around to incite and seduce the poor lay faithful to rebel against the Pope, the Vicar of Christ? How can priests who have made their peace with the Church and the Pope be now pushing the Catholic lay faithful to become enemies of the Church and to spiritual ruin? This is indeed pastoral and spiritual demonstration at work. This is not a way to be a pastor, but a predator, not the way to be a shepherd of the flock, but a shooter of the flock. It is very shameful, distressing, and scandalous that some of these priests, and worse still, the younger ones among them, Sunday after Sunday, turn the pulpit into a platform to denigrate, insult, and other shameful lies against our bishops, cardinals, even Pope, and get on Catholic lay faithful to listen to them uncomplaining. This is not a sign of Christian virtue, but vice. Not a sign of Christian respect, but a display of callous indifference. It is not a sign of Christian decency, but a complicity in evil. It is not a sign of Christian simplicity, but total cowardice and abnegation of Christian responsibility and courage. How can a priest ordained to proclaim the good news allow his mouth to be a gutter where gushes out dirty words, lies, slander, hatred, division, insults, incitement, and war songs? Does a priest who insult bishops and demonstrate lack of respect to papal appeals and demonstrations deserve our obedience? Surely not. This is a time for the Catholic lay faithful of Ahiara to tell these priests and their sycophants, the Abateke group, that enough is enough. It is our Christian duty to tell these derailing priests to return to their priestly call and promises. But if they think that the Church has become too oppressive for them to pull off the cassock and quit, it has become very urgent to alert the lay faithful of Ahiara Diocese of the new strategy to use them by the enemies of the Church to frustrate the efforts of the Pope to bring peace to Ahiara Diocese through a series of unchristian actions. Equally in the plot to prevent the apostolic administrator, His Eminence John Cardinal Onayeka, from coming to the diocese through threatening letters and state-managed protests. We condemn these and call on all genuine Catholics of Ahiara Diocese not to join in these ungodly plots, nor lend any support to groups who want to disgrace, blackmail, and demean the authority of the Pope and our bishops and prolong the crisis in our Ahiara Diocese. The plotters and evil planners used by these priests are nothing but a coalition of antichrist, atheists, non-practicing and non-sacramental Catholics, pagans, married priests, corrupt politicians who want to inject their political tricks into the Church, cultists, and other enemies of the Church who see the present crisis as an opportunity to destroy the Church, masquerading as representatives of the Catholic laity in Ahiara Diocese. We want our lay faithful to run away from these hordes of wolves and destroyers of the faith. Shun their advances, their calls and meetings. Do not listen to them, nor allow your soul to be corrupted by their lies and unchristian polemics. treat them as enemies of the church. Tell them that the Pope has spoken and the matter ended. These are not serving the interest of Mbaise people nor the Catholic Church, but their personal agenda, which could be to divide the Catholic Church and form their own phony church. We call on parents to guard their sons and daughters against these spiritual wolves and the deceivers. Ask yourselves, how many of these so-called fighters for justice who are calling on you to rebel against the Pope have done any good thing for your children? How many of them have offered any job to our suffering youths? How many of them have provided the people with any social facility? How many of them have used their past political or professional positions to better the lots of the people? How many of them, including the dissident priests, do their parents, relations, brothers or children join in these protest rallies and meetings? We regret that our women folk have become the tool for the mischief makers in the church. The children must resist the abuses on their mothers. The clear truth is that any person who joins any group to insult Pope and the bishops is bringing a curse on himself or herself. Anyone who is working to destroy the family of God, the church, will his own family stand? No. The Pope, in his address to the delegates from Ahiara Diocese and Nigeria hierarchy, clearly noted that anyone blocking the bishop appointed for Ahiara from taking his seat is committing an offense against the church. And anyone committing such an offense against the church is a mortal sin. This means that all these lay people being used to block the bishop from taking his seat are committing mortal sins. And as Catholics, we know that such people should not be attending the sacraments till they repent. In the past, the priests told the laity that they should keep quiet, claiming that the Episcopal crisis is not their concern. Why are they turning around now to push the laity to take over the rebellion when they have already apologized for their actions? Do these priests think that we laity are fools? Now is the time to tell them that we are not fools. May we ask where the knights of the church is. Why are they not raising their swords, bold to defend the Pope and work to see that his decisions are carried out in Ahiara Diocese? Where are the pious associations, Legion of Mary, Sacred Heart, Bible Society, Charismatics, St. Anthony, etc.? Are you lying silent as enemies of the church are trying to do havoc to the Church of God in Ahiara Diocese and declaring war on the Pope, the Vicar of Christ? Now is the time for all to witness their faith and stand firm in obedience to the church and the Pope, as we promised in baptism. As we once more congratulate most of our priests for complying with the papal directives, they must not allow the hotheads and extremists among them force them to return their vomit. Make your vows to the Lord, as the Bible said, and fulfill them. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. We in Ahiara are tired and ashamed of what this crisis has done to our image. Now that the Pope has spoken and our priests have also complied with his order, and layman and woman or youth who continues this crisis is an enemy of the Catholic faith and is pursuing only his or her selfish and personal agenda. Perhaps those who have been benefiting from the crisis does not want it to end. Now that the Pope has spoken, let us, priests and laity, in a true Catholic spirit, welcome the bishop of the Catholic Church. One people, one faith, one baptism that the Pope, the Vicar of Christ, has given us, so that together with our bishop and with the help of our Blessed Mother of God, we may in peace rebuild our shattered and battered diocese. May God save our diocese and our people. To God be the glory. Signed on behalf of concerned Catholics of Ahiara Diocese, Sasi Y Ogu KSM, Sasi I Iwu KSM, President Laity Council, President CMO, Ambassador Dora Wachuku, Mr. Teddy Ezrike, President CWO, President CYON.